So let's dive into this really heartwarming tale called The Unlikely Best Friends. It's a story that kind of makes you rethink where you can find a connection and, what it really means to be a friend. The whole story really boils down to this one word, unlikely. It just means something you absolutely don't expect to happen, which begs the question, right? Can the most unexpected bonds also turn out to be the strongest? Well, let's find out. Okay, so let's start with chapter 1, A Lonely Elephant's Wish. Here we meet our first main character who, seems to have it all, except for the one thing that actually matters. So meet Gajaraj. He's this magnificent royal elephant. And he lives a life of total luxury in the royal stables. The king himself makes sure he has everything he needs. But despite all this comfort, something is just missing. You can see it, right? There's this deep sadness there. And he's got this caretaker, the Mahout, who's a super kind guy, looks after him really well. But, being cared for isn't the same as having a real friend. Gajaraj was just alone. He had no one to share his days with. And this is what was constantly on his mind. It wasn't about the fancy food or the royal treatment. More than anything in the world, all Gajaraj really wanted was a friend to play with.
And this brings us to chapter 2, An Unexpected Friendship. Because one evening, Gajaraj's lonely world is about to get completely turned upside down. Okay, so picture this. A little stray dog, totally tired and hungry, just wanders into the stable. And Gajaraj, what does he do? He does something so simple, but it's huge. He just pushes some of his own food over to the little guy. Just a simple act of kindness, right? And from that one small thing, this incredible friendship just explodes into life. They became totally inseparable. I'm talking sharing food, playing in the pond together. Gajaraj was even giving his new buddy rides on his back. They'd finally found what they were both missing. And this picture, oh man, it just says it all, doesn't it? Gajaraj, this gentle giant, just playfully splashing his tiny friend. It's just pure, simple joy. Even the Mahout couldn't help but laugh seeing them.
But you know how stories go. Just when things are perfect, something happens. And that brings us to chapter 3, A Sudden Separation. Their happiness is about to get cut short. So one day, this farmer is walking by, and he just yells out, "Bunty!" And it turns out this little dog, he wasn't a stray after all. He was the farmer's lost dog, and the guy was just ecstatic to find him. So the farmer, he immediately puts a rope around Bunty's neck to take him home. And this is just a heartbreaking moment. For the farmer, it's a happy ending, right? But for Bunty and Gajaraj, it's devastating. Gajaraj can't do anything. He just has to stand there and watch his best friend get led away. And here's the thing, the humans are completely oblivious. They just see a man finding his lost dog. They totally miss the deep, deep sadness of these two friends. As this quote says, both Gajaraj and Bunty were crying, and nobody even noticed. And this, of course, leads us to what happens next. Chapter 4, Sorrow and Starvation, where this separation just takes a terrible, terrible toll. It's incredible, really. Even though they're miles apart, they both react in the exact same way. Back at the stable, Gajaraj just stops eating. And over at the farm, Bunty does the same thing. They're both literally starving themselves out of sadness, and their owners are getting seriously worried. So, back at the stable, the Mahout is checking Gajaraj over, thinking he must be sick, but there's nothing wrong with him physically. And that's when it finally clicks. He starts to wonder, wait a minute. Could all of this be because he's missing his friend, that little dog? And just as the Mahout is figuring this out, the farmer is having the same thought, which brings us to our amazing final chapter, A Joyful Reunion. It turns out some friendships are just too strong to be broken. The farmer, he can't stop thinking about how happy Bunty looked with that elephant, and seeing his dog just wasting away, not eating. He gets it. He finally understands. He tells Bunty he can't stand to see him so sad, and in this just incredible moment of empathy, he takes off the rope and lets him go. And Bunty, even though he's weak from not eating, he just bolts. He races all the way back to the stable. And the second they see each other, wow, Gajaraj just scoops him up with his trunk. It's this amazing, joyful reunion. They're finally back together. So the two friends are finally eating again, side by side,
and the farmer, who'd followed Bunty, shows up. The mahout sees the whole scene, turns to the farmer, and says this amazing line. He realizes that by understanding their animals, he and the farmer have actually built their own friendship.
You know, this whole story leaves you with a pretty powerful question about what friendship really is. I mean, a huge elephant and a tiny dog. It seems impossible, right? But their connection, it went way beyond size or species or what anyone expected. It really makes you think that true friendship is about a bond that you can't see. It's something much deeper. So, what does this story make you think about the power of friendship?